Well, this was the first time I did something like in front of my face. I had like the jaw one and the logo one. I think I had the forehead already too, but they were all like on the sides. You know, it was when you were looking for me for the front, you could see it a little bit. But this was the first time I like wanted right in my face, and that was like the point of no return. Well, I already was at the point of no return, but this one was like right in your face. So I thought it would be really cool to put sweet there because it wasn't about me being all radical or anything. I'm still a sweet guy, even though it's like in my face. So that's why I chose the word sweet, yeah.
Welcome back to another episode of Face Tattoo Talks, a series in which I interview people with face tattoos. If you're new to this channel or don't know who I am, my name is Joachim Stels and I've been photographing people with face tattoos for the past 5 years now. You can check out some of my work on my Instagram, which I will link down below in the description. Last year, I challenged myself to make one video interview each month of the year. And despite failing my own challenge, I did get a lot of positive feedback, so I decided to carry on creating these videos throughout the new year as well. The last episode I made was with world-renowned and well-respected barber and co-founder of grooming band Realism, Robert-Jan Rietveld. If you haven't seen this episode, be sure to go check it out. While you're at it, take a look at some of the other video interviews I've done in the past year as well. This episode is with one of the nicest people I've met since I've started doing the Jobstoppers project, Remon Zilver Smit, a Dutch tattoo artist specialized in blackwork and dark realism. Over the past years, I photographed Remon on 3 different occasions. The last time I photographed him was at Jeet and Jens tattoo shop in The Hague, where I also took the time to sit down with him and ask him some questions about his tattoos as well as his work. Next month's video interview will be with Jay Shelby, the youngest person I photographed so far that has face tattoos. At only 17 years of age, he already had some remarkable face tattoos, so be sure to check out that episode as well, as it's going to be a very interesting one. If you enjoy these types of videos, please feel free to like the video, leave a comment, share it with your friends who might also find it interesting. And if you want to stay up to date on future videos, please feel free to subscribe and hit the notifications button so you don't miss out on anything. This helps the channel grow and reach more like-minded people like you and me. Also, for this episode, I was fortunate enough to be able to use some music by a young and talented hip-hop and rap producer from Belgium called Julian James. If you like the music you'll be hearing throughout the episode, be sure to go check out this channel, which I will also link in the description below. And if you want to support upcoming artists, feel free to sub to his channel as well. So much for the intro. I really hope you enjoy my interview with Remon and see you in the next video. Bye bye.
Hi, I'm Remon. I'm a Dutch blackwork artist. I've been tattooing for 3 years now, and I met Joachim 3 years ago, and now we're finally back together again, bro. No, well, I started as a piercer actually, and when I came into that studio, there was an apprentice coming into the shop, and she wanted to learn how to tattoo. And then I told her, like, you can practice on me, that's okay, you know, but I want to try it too on you. So then we started tattooing each other like every week. And at one point I just didn't like piercing anymore because I was like obsessed with like drawing and getting better at tattooing. And at one point I was like, I'm gonna stop being a piercer, I want to do this for real. And then it all exploded. Basically, yeah, I started like promoting myself on social media, and I'm a really young guy, so I grew up with social media, so that worked really well for me. And then out of a sudden I got a lot of clients in Holland, so I gained a lot of experience in the first year of a tattooer. Well, an apprentice, obviously. So yeah, basically that, yeah. Well, all my friends are pretty alternative people, so by the time I started practicing tattooing, they all ask for like kind of gothy, small thing. So I was always like involved with a lot of alternative people, so a lot of alternative people love blackwork. So, and yeah, me too. So it all just happened, and I didn't necessarily choose for it, That's just the art I made from the beginning because it was just my preference. Yeah, and with my friends too. Like we were always like, I remember making a drawing of Rick and Morty. We used to watch Rick and Morty a lot, and then my buddy said like, no, give him piercings and give him face tattoos, you know. And then I did like tiny tattoos of Rick from Rick and Morty with a lot of tattoos in his face and shit. So you know, it was always like an edgy way of drawing, and I've always like tried to be a little bit weird or something. Yeah, I really like that, like a little bit more extreme. Yeah.
And how did that evolve over time, or are you still doing Blackwork?
Well, it was actually pretty stupid to start doing Blackwork first because my first traditional piece was when I was tattooing for 2.5 years or something, and I noticed myself getting way better at tattooing when I started trying different styles too. So it wasn't necessarily a really good thing to do, but it worked out in the end. But you know, Blackwork is really hard, and especially when you're trying to make smaller practice tattoos. It was like not the smartest style to begin with, you know, but yeah, doing it more and more often, and a lot of people were really enthusiastic of me being a tattooer, so I did pretty crazy shit. Well, I wasn't even tattooing for that long yet, but I remember like blacking out a toe and shit from a friend of mine, and you know, not necessarily, but like for instance, yeah, like bones on toes, or like a big chunk of black randomly, you know, stuff like that, just silly things, but it made me like experience solid black better. Yeah.
And now, is your favorite style of tattooing now is still Blackwork?
No. Well, it's still a preference, but recently I've started doing more like dark realism. I like to combine that with Blackwork too. I like the variation now. I've been doing Blackwork since the beginning, and now that I started doing more like realistic stuff, I see myself being more free to like create something. So no, if I would say my favorite style would be realism now, to be honest, but not like basic stuff. I wouldn't enjoy doing like just the image of a clock or a lion. It still has to be like a little bit edgy, but I really like the time you can spend on a smaller piece with a lot of detail. So no, my favorite one would be realism actually. Yeah. I was 20 or 21 years old when I got my first. Yeah, there was the logo in between there. That was, I think, a week after I started tattooing for real. And I remember sending an image to my boss because I was still working at a restaurant in Rotterdam. And I was like, fuck it, let's do my logo. And I placed it on my face and I sent a picture to my boss. And I was expecting him to say like, all right, you don't have to come to work anymore. But he didn't. He was like, oh shit, that looks cool, bro. I'll see you on Monday. Shit. So I did work for another week in a restaurant, yeah, with a face banger, yeah. And after a week I was like, nah, it was actually meant for you to fire me. He was like, I know. And then I went off. In the 2 months after that, I blasted my whole face. Like the suite was in the same month. The knife was in the same month. And then my forehead was the month after that. Now it's a cover up though. It was the one underneath there. So yeah, I went off a little bit, yeah.
0 to 100.
Yeah. And then I enjoyed every single bit of it. Yeah.
What do you have besides your eye here?
It's the first letter of my wife. Yeah, the I.
She has the same.
Yeah, she has the R too, yeah.
That's nice.
Yeah.
Can you tell me a bit more about the meaning behind the sweets?
Well, this was the first time I did something like in front of my face. I had like the jaw one and the logo one. I think I had the forehead already too, but they were all like on the sides, you know. It was when you were looking for me for the front, you could see it a little bit, but this was the first time I like wanted right in my face, and that was like the point of no return. Well, I already was at the point of no return, but this one was like right in your face. So I thought it would be really cool to put sweet there, because it wasn't about me being all radical or anything. I'm still a sweet guy, even though it's like in my face. So that's why I chose the word sweet. Yeah. Oh my god. If you think tattoos are bad, no, it was horrible. I think the worst part about it was the healing process though. I was not expecting it to be that intense. It's like way deeper, way more sensitive. And I was bleeding for 1.5 days straight. In the end, I had to sit in front of a van to make it stop bleeding because I wouldn't stop. Yeah, it was nuts. I almost passed out in the shower while I was cleaning it. I was expecting it to feel a little bit the same as rinsing off a new tattoo. Nah, nah. This was something else. Like the moment the water hit the wound, I started screaming and I called my wife like, "You gotta help me because I'm gonna pass the fuck out in here." Yeah, I freaked out. It was really bad. The days after, it was a really big scab, and like moving would rip it open. So yeah, it's it's horrible. Yeah, I'm really happy with it, but I wouldn't do it again. It's not for me. No.
So first and last.
Yeah. Well, I say that now because it's still healing.
And tell me a bit more. So you did it on top of like a blacked out piece? Or?
Yeah. I got my chest blacked out by John Dame, and it was really solid. And I was like, this is the perfect place for the Anarchy logo, you know. And the guy who did it was a friend of ours, so we were chilling in the studio, and then he was like, "You wanted a scar, right?" I was like, "Yeah." He was like, "We'll do it tomorrow." I was like, "Shit, now I really gotta do it."
You get a real.
Yeah, but it's pretty cool, especially on a blackout. Like it heals white, so it's like a sort of negative art form. Yeah, and it's not like raised. It's a little bit, but it's not like thick scar tissue. They're really good.
Some people really like it, prefer it.
Yeah. You have like the, what's it called? Keloid scars. Yeah, those are really cool too. But the guy who did it with me, he is aiming for like a flatter scar. Yeah. I think people are ignorant. I think people assume that if you get tattoos or body mods in like extremer parts of your body, like your face or your hands, people expect it to be with a different intention. And I think that's where the hatred is coming from, because they assume that you're like trying to piss off people or like trying to not give a fuck, or you know, they assume that it's a different kind of getting a tattoo.
It's provocative.
Yeah, but it's ignorant to think like that, because why would you think a tattoo on my face would have a different intention than on my arm? It's just another place on my body. I'm lucky that I'm a tattoo artist and I'm able to do this, but the intention is still the same. I just like it, that's it. But a lot of people think that you're just one crazy guy, you know? And I think that's why I think they are really ignorant. Yeah. I think my favorite ones were the ones that hurt the most, to be honest, because like I did that, you know? They were really extreme. I got some sessions done by Frankie in Dordrecht, and those were basically my worst experience getting tattooed. But I really love it because like it shows, I'm proud of it, you know? It shows that I did that. And I have a lot of people noticing my neck and like the way I had to suffer for it and how I carry that, I feel really proud about that. So if I would say, the more extreme tattoos I have are the most favorite of mine, yeah.
Because you've earned them.
Yeah, basically, yeah. And I really love the looks also, like the dark stuff it's perfect for me, yeah. Well, yeah, my palms, obviously, by Ray Felix. Sorry, Ray. Those were really, I'm really happy with those too. And they stuck really good. These were done like 3 years ago.
How's that experience?
Horrible. Horrible, yeah. But he's really quick, so that helps. Like the pain is really bad, but it's such a short session that you're not like destroyed. You know, it's like a short, hard pain. So it wasn't necessarily a hard session, but just a really tough one to get done. What else? I'm not gonna talk about my legs. I got really nice tattooer legs. No short pants for this motherfucker. No, I'm kidding. I do show them off, but they're ugly as shit. As you should be as a tattooer, you know. You should practice on yourself, you know. And I did try to cover it up by Frankie. He did like my lower leg. It was horrible. I practiced on myself. And I booked a session for the lower leg. And he did my lower leg. And I was like, you're not doing my legs, bro. I'm not up for it. You can do my arm, it's okay, but not my leg. He killed me. So I'm planning to do just leave it how it is. I'm okay with that. All good. Yeah, I got some sessions booked already. Yeah, I'm gonna get a portrait of my brother by Joe Sinner in Alkmaar. I really like the way he does like realism, but with lines and like a little bit harsh and a little bit creepy. I really like the way he draws that. So he's gonna do my brother, and he's gonna do. He doesn't know that yet, but he's gonna do 2 portraits of my parents too on the back of my upper legs. Yeah, I want to do my fingers. I got that spot left. And I'm gonna fill the rest of my face up too in January. Yeah, Ray Falix is gonna do it. He's gonna fill it up, all of it.
With?
I don't know.
We'll see.
I have no idea. Like he does really good freehand black work. So just go off, bro. Yeah.
So we'll have to do a photo shoot after all.
Yeah. But I'll come to Belgium then.
Always welcome.
The hate doesn't harm me at all. I don't really care. So it helps me a lot. Like all my clients I have are all through social media, all of them. Every single client I did were from social media. I've never worked at a walk-in studio. I did a guest spot once in Amsterdam, but it wasn't for me. I've always been tattooing on appointments, and the only way to do that is to promote your work. You used to be able to promote your work at conventions and stuff like that, and like you have to get out into the world and show yourself. But nowadays with social media, you can just make a really cool video of your tattoo, and people could see it if you do it the proper way, and you see it way more than you used to, because you have to promote yourself on social media. It's just a must, and that's not only for the tattoo industry. That's with every industry. Like we're not the only industry who needs social media. Every single business is actually pending on social media nowadays, and the tattoo industry is just part of that. It's just how it is.
You only need one viral video to
You
be
could.
completely launched.
Yeah, and you see that with every single business you start up. Like you see coffee companies being really successful because they posted a nice video with an influencer, And if they wouldn't have posted that video, they would still be struggling to get clients in there. Every single business where you want to start up a business, you need it.
On your social media, I also see a lot of videos of your mom.
Yeah.
She seems like a very nice person.
She is, yeah, she's lovely.
And very respectful and loving about your choices of
Yeah.
tattoos. What does that mean? I can imagine it means a lot for you to get that type of support from.
Yeah, from a whole family actually. My family is really supportive, very proud, and I'm really blessed that I don't have like struggles with family or whatsoever. They were shocked at first. Like I remember the first time they saw me with a face tat. That was a bit of a shock, but it was when I already was tattooing, so they knew like he knows what he's doing. So they were never, they were trying to like dim it down a little bit because they were scared for opinions of others. That's what they all told me. Like we don't care, we're all good with it. They only had a little bit of struggle with the fact that people are gonna hate on me all the time. That's the only thing they told me. Like it's such a shame that a lot of people won't even know the nice guy you are because they will assume you're like a criminal or whatsoever.
People can still find out how nice you are.
Yeah, the right people would, but yeah, I'm really lucky with my environment of people. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, she's amazing. She's a piercer in New York, and she does suspensions too. So she likes to go a little bit extreme too, and that fits perfectly. She goes with me when I get a new tattoo. She loves the way I look. She's all involved in that industry too, especially because she used to be a tattooer too. She did an apprenticeship, so yeah, she's all up for it. Yeah.
Can you tell me a bit about how she helped you during the scarification?
Oh yeah. She fed me like candy during. Yeah, she gave me a lot of kisses, and she ate a little bit of my flesh. So yeah, she was really supportive. She couldn't chew it. She said it was like a bit of rubber, so she couldn't like. She did swallow it, but she couldn't chew it.
I think think that's it for the question. Thank you so much again for your time.
Thank you.
And always a pleasure having you.
Same, buddy.